You are listening to the Gentle Wave podcast, a place to remember your own true essence in wild reclamation. My name is Ina Jane, and I'm holding the space for you today. Words to nourish your soul, inspire your mind, and anchor your body in the remembrance that you hold all that you need inside of you. You are already whole. So let's own what we know, let's inspire each other, and let's write new pathways together. Trees whisper, plants murmur, and in between the breathing waves, the silence sings a song that reminds me of all that can never be forgotten. I make my way down to the shoreline. Today every step, bare feet on the soil, feels like a shedding. And I listen, nostrils open to the faint scent of charcoal left by a fire long burned out. I let my fingers map the freshness of the sprouting fir on the way. Every step an opening with all my senses. When I arrive at the water's edge, a strip of beach at the end of the garden, I squat down and let the waves wash over my toes. It is low tide. Pebbles are gently lifted with each incoming wave. The ocean looks more like a lake than anything else. I look up, and a turtle raises her head out of the glistening water. My fingers linger on the little canvas bag I brought with me. I close my eyes and let the morning sun ignite a vision beyond what we call seeing. Open portals into the invisible, and yet always present. This little canvas bag has held so many stones and shells, twigs and seeds, feathers and leaves that I collected for my beach creations. Earth paintings offered to the changing tides, a momentary creative expression drawn in the sand with a stick and filled out with whatever I collected along the shoreline. I never know beforehand what I'm looking for, which ignites again and again the impulse to make a plan, to exercise some kind of control. I take a deep breath and let my gaze wander over the ocean and the sky, taking in the rhythm of the waves and the movement of the clouds, rooting my feet deep into the ground. I allow my senses to take it all in. Me standing still, surrounded by all the movement around me, but also the deeper currents of motion that I feel are so much easier to tap into in the presence of the ocean. It is almost like I can feel the planet moving through space. Another deep breath, and a smile paints itself onto my lips. I take one step and another one. Take my gaze from the horizon and looking down on what is just in front of me. It is this moment of anchoring myself into the bigger picture, the vast movement I so easily forget that I am a part of, that opens the door for this trust in life. And the belief that gets anchored in those moments that maybe, just maybe, what I need is possible. And whatever is unfolding right in front of me is just one piece of the puzzle. A puzzle I only get glimpses of every now and again. Rarely the full image. So I keep wandering along the shoreline, picking up whatever calls me, putting leaves and twigs, shells and stones, feathers and seeds into the little canvas bag. Sometimes I pick one stone up only to realize it isn't what I'm looking for, which I know with a certainty that doesn't stop to amaze me, as I would have stated before that moment that I don't know what I'm looking for. Those moments remind me that there are layers within me that always know, and that knowing is available in ways that I can't even fathom, and that I can trust in it appearing when I need it. That little voice inside that says, yes, this one. But not this one. Not this stone I am holding in my hand, that I've just picked up. I just know it is not for me in this moment. The inner dialogue starts around whether or not to admit that this is not it. I sense guilt rising, the fear of rejection that I hold in myself. I find I project onto that stone. Also the fact that I've already picked it up ignites an old pattern of conditioning that what I take, what I make a choice for, I have to follow through no matter what, even if it doesn't feel right. No permission for changes. It is this belief that if I have said yes one step of the way, there is an obligation to keep saying yes in the exact same way. No checking back, no listening. That's how decision becomes a closing door rather than an opening one. It makes it hard to say no, and actually it also makes it really hard to say yes. To admit that something is not quite right, or that I really want something, they feel equally scary most of the time. I notice these are moments where the flow that I felt before in the process gets held up. I arrive at an impasse, hold my breath. I look up again and allow the inner dialogue to happen, to wash over me. In the beginning, I would have taken the stone anyway. They usually ended up being the ones that I would struggle with right up until the end of creating the beach image, as they wouldn't quite fit. Then I started throwing them as far away as possible with a sense of forcefulness. Now I just put them back down gently and step out of the inner dialogue and into a bigger one. Once again connecting to the bigger picture, the movement of the ocean, the clouds dancing over the sky. And I say, thank you, but this is not what I'm looking for. Sometimes I know what I want or need instead, and then I add that. Often I leave it at that. In my experience, only a short while later, I will find something that feels like a perfect fit, something that feels just right. Usually when I come back the next day, the space where the day before I had created a sand image shows no recollection of that process. And by now I really like that. It makes me smile, giving me a sense of freedom and freshness, a liberation in owning the fragility that lies for me at the heart of being human, terrifying and exhilarating. The other day, though, I still found remnants of my creation from the day before. I went up to have a look, mesmerized and disappointed at the same time, intending to sit there with the mixed feelings, when I noticed the tracks leading from the ocean to and from the place where the leftovers of my beach creations lay. I knew immediately what they were, but couldn't believe it. I followed them up to the image. They stopped right at its center, ending in an indentation in the sand. A turtle's nest. I can't fully describe how it felt that morning, encountering this. It brought me once again closer to the wildness of life, the untamed nature of what it is to be in conversation with our environment and the universe as a whole, and the beauty that comes with the unpredictability of creative process, bringing it all home, into this body, into this human experience. It taught me so much about what I don't know, what I would never believe possible, and brought me back to the magic of the openness of any given moment. Two years have passed since then. So many of the pebbles of my life have been shifted, and the shorelines moved in ways I could not have foreseen back then. Now I'm squatting here, another sunset, another shoreline, the same ocean, inside and outside. The turtle that had lifted its head above the sea surface has long gone her way into the blue-green depths underwater. She inspired this moment of remembrance, bringing the pieces together, offering a listening. I open my eyes as the waves are rushing around my feet and the water comes up my legs. The tide is rising, while all around me dusk cloaks the world in the soft light of the liminal. The glistening dance of sunbeams on water, carrying the memory of the day, and softened by the anticipation of the coming night. I take a deep breath. This here is a gift, to have and to hold, to receive and to give, a spark to ignite courage, to be, and in the silence of the breathing waves, in the pause that never lasts, yet never fails to return, I find an anchor into the deepest well of trust. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gentle Wave podcast. I hope it lands in between the pages of your life as nourishment and inspiration. We are here to be wild. We need you. We need your perspective. We need you making sense in and of this world in your very own way. That, to me, is the true revolution, right here in the heart of ourselves. A powerful wave rooted in the softening of our very relationship with ourselves, weaving soul circles into our bodies. That is why every episode of the Gentle Wave podcast is accompanied by a home retreat, an offering for you to dive deeper into the topic of each episode and unlock your unique wild gentleness through small acts of awareness and presence. If that sparks your curiosity, please subscribe to my newsletter below and receive free access to your 1-hour Gentle Wave home retreat with every episode. Thank you for your presence on this wild human ride. Until next time, I wish you a journey of playful curiosity and wild ease.